Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Wendell from Natural Health and Wellness Center, located, of course, in beautiful uptown Jamesburg, New Jersey. And today I want to talk to you a bit about glyphosate. See, our health is being stolen from us, generation after generation, and nobody's really doing anything about this on a wide scale. So I'm bringing this video to you to help educate you, your families, and your friends, so make sure that you share it. You see, we have being created GMO, or genetically modified organisms, crops that we grow, particularly corn, soy, canola, and sugar beet. You see, the FDA says that these foods are safe, but I'm not really so sure about that because we don't know how they respond in our body. If we go back to 1970, we didn't really have many herbicides, particularly in 1974 when glyphosate was introduced. Glyphosate, we also know better as Roundup, has increasingly been used on our crops. And we know that Roundup, glyphosate, will kill any vegetation in its pathway. However, we've created, not us, but Monsanto has created genetically modified crops. Corn, soy, canola, sugar beet, and many more. But those are the four big ones. And so they grow these crops that they've modified and they spray them with the glyphosate, and the crops grow and everything else around it dies. And we got to be careful about that because glyphosate is a very dangerous chemical. Even though Monsanto says that it's safe and it cleans the soil and our government says that it's safe, it really isn't. You see, back in 1999-2000, we sprayed about 10% of our crops with glyphosate. Today we're doing about 90% of our commercial crops. We have to be careful because glyphosate disrupts your gut function. All the organisms, the 40,000 microbes in your gut that make up about 6 to 10 pounds of your body weight are disrupted. And that's a problem because the gut organisms create 75 to 80% of our neurotransmitters and 70 to 80% of our immune function. And if we disrupt them, we screw up our neurotransmitters as well as our immune system. And also it affects liver function. And that's especially important because one of the things that it directly disrupts is vitamin D production, hence why we have a pandemic deficiency of vitamin D. And it also disrupts our cytochrome P450 phase 1, phase 2 detoxification. What's that, you ask? That's your liver and your body on a cellular level detoxifying the chemicals and the stuff that you put into your body. And so it's time to get your body back and your health back. But it goes even further. We take these GMO crops, the corn, the soy, the canola, and the sugar beets, and now we feed them to livestock. And when we go to the store, we see grass-fed beef, grain-fed beef, not grass-fed. We hope to see grass-fed, but we see grain-fed. And we look at that and go, oh, this must be good. And it's really not. Because the grain that they're being fed with, you guessed it, are the crops that are being sprayed with this glyphosate that's causing these neurotoxins and these chemical alterations in their bodies as well as ours. And you see, here's something that you really want to know. We've correlated this with autism, the glyphosate. In 1970, 1 out of 10,000 kids had autism. Autism, remember, is measured on 12-year-olds. Okay, we look at the 12-year-old kids and say, who has what? 1974, we introduced glyphosate, and we fast forward to the present time, or 12 years ago, 2000, 2002, when 10% of the crops were sprayed. Now, 1 out of 68 kids has autism. Well, in 2015, we're spraying 90% of our commercial crops. That's being used for what I affectionately call white trash. You know, your bread, pasta, cereal, biscuits, muffins, pancakes, waffles, donuts, bagels, cookies, cakes, candies, and pizza crusts. You have to be careful because we're going to see 10 years from now, 2025, roughly 1 out of 2 kids having autism because of this. So we need to be careful. Glyphosate causes nutritional deficiencies and it's a neurotoxin to our bodies. It's bad stuff. Remember, Monsanto was found guilty for lying about glyphosate, telling us that it's safe. It's not. So be careful. I'm Dr. Dave from Natural Health and Wellness Center, where we want to be your inspiration for healthy living.